Kris Jenner threw one of the biggest parties of the year for her 70th birthday, and the cops were called numerous times.
Because it's iconic. And I love to do iconic shit. I just got a text from Snoop.
Question, is it okay if I smoke at the party? And I have a gift for her.
Kris Jenner's big birthday celebration took a wild turn after police kept rolling up to Jeff Bezos' mega mansion. This whole situation is messy, so let's break it down. Even billionaires gotta play by the rules because officers were called out to Bezos' estate multiple times during the night. He was hosting a full-on birthday bash for Kris, and trust me, the neighbors were not feeling it. Folks in the area said the music was blasting through the hills like a concert, not a private event. Jeff clearly wanted to make sure he was front and center at this celebration too. He loves being surrounded by famous faces, but honestly, how relaxing can a party be when police are showing up nonstop?
That's all Frank County. Clear the roadway. There's a car coming in.
At one point, they even had to clear out some bushes because they were blocking part of the street, like the whole place was a movie set or something. This wasn't just any mansion either. This was his huge $165 million Beverly Hills property. And yes, officers got sent back there several times because the noise kept echoing through the Hollywood Hills. A bunch of wealthy residents were reportedly annoyed because they couldn't sleep with all that sound booming in the background. Sources claimed the noise was unreal because Bruno Mars performed live at the party. Imagine hearing stadium-level vocals while you're just trying to chill at home. It didn't sound like a house party, it sounded like a mini-festival, and people online were shocked Bruno even showed up because there's been this rumor floating around that he's been stuck in Las Vegas over some massive debt drama. Some folks have been repeating a story that he's being forced to perform nonstop, but those claims sound exaggerated and none of them have ever been proven. Still, people love to run with a wild conspiracy when they see Bruno on a random stage. People kept bringing up that old story about Bruno saying he rushed a song because he needed to clear some debts, and honestly, everyone knows he can turn stress into a hit when he needs to. If there's one thing Bruno knows how to do, it's drop a track that gets the whole world vibing while handling his business.
It looks so tired. Bruno Mars being trapped in Las Vegas because of his crippling gambling addiction kind of reminds me of the Lotus Casino from Percy Jackson, where they couldn't escape the casino. Dude was so talented. Dude was so talented too.
But back to the chaos. This whole party was straight up disorder for no reason. You'd expect with Jeff Bezos level money, the basics would be handled, like having the right permits or knowing not to block an entire street with random bushes. If I lived up in those hills and needed to grab a late-night snack or handle an emergency, I'd be heated pulling up to that scene and seeing total confusion everywhere. And the guest list was stacked with big names everywhere you turned. Oprah was there, which had people talking because her connection with Kris Jenner always raises eyebrows lately.
Police were called to Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party. So Kris Jenner just threw her 70th birthday party, and basically every famous person was there, most infamously of which was Justin Bieber, because he was pictured with what appeared to be baking soda on the front of his pants. It wasn't baking soda. But surprisingly, the not baking soda wasn't why the cops were called to this party. Apparently, Jeff Bezos is in the neighborhood where this party was thrown, and the party got too loud, so he ended up calling the cops to have it shut down. A Bruno Mars live performance is allegedly what sent Bezos over the edge, by the way. Now, apparently, police were were called out to visit the residence twice. The first time was for noise, the second time were for fake hedges that were apparently illegal. But since it was a Jenner party, they got away with only a warning from police.
Then Chris Rock pulled up, Martha Stewart was spotted, and even Prince Harry and Meghan Markle showed up. People online were clowning them again for absolutely no reason, acting like they weren't supposed to be there. Some folks were even joking that they snuck in, but in the photos, Meghan looked completely focused, giving classic celebrity energy like she knew exactly what camera to hit. Tyler Perry came through too. He's been quiet recently with all the legal drama around him. Paris Hilton was there, Adele showed out, Mariah Carey made an appearance. Honestly, the whole thing felt like someone just grabbed the most random list of big stars and dropped them in one backyard. And of course, the internet had something to say about everybody.
Here's all the celebrities that attended Kris Jenner's James Bond-themed 70th birthday and what they wore. Kicking it off with the one and only Beyonce and her mother, Tina Knowles. I was gagged when I saw that Beyonce was there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and people are already mad. Here's Harry and Meghan inside Chris's birthday party and Meghan with Kim. The guest list was seriously stacked. Oprah was there. Here she is with Kris. Gayle King. Adele was there. You can see her a little better in this photo in the background. Mariah Carey. Snoop Dogg. Kim, of course. Bill Gates. It was seriously like a billionaire's roll call. Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan were there. Photographed here inside the party, Jeff Bezos and his wife Lauren Sanchez, who actually hosted the party for Kris at their home. I guess that's what billionaires can do. The beautiful Alicia Keys. Justin Bieber, who was having a great night, was also spotted with some kind of white substance on his pants. You decide. There are a stack of photos of him and Kris just really bonding together and hitting the dance floor. Wife Hailey Bieber and of course Kendall were also there. Vanessa Bryan and Sierra, Jay-Z, Sarah Paulson and Naomi Watts, including the rest of the All's Fair gang, Niecy Nash, Tiana Taylor.
A lot of people were surprised these folks are even real-life friends because no one can imagine all these personalities hanging out together. Some viewers joked about Harry and Meghan showing up uninvited, as if they would even know a party was happening without being told. Others threw shade about the noise and even made jokes about Meghan's laugh, which people love to exaggerate online. One person watching the drama unfold said the whole event looked like rich folks acting wild at a buffet. And honestly, the vibe did feel over the top. There were also whispers that the party had a James Bond theme, which makes sense with all the glam going on. These ultra-wealthy people love to talk about rules and neighborhood standards, but the moment they want to party, all that structure disappears like it never existed. The more details that came out about this wild birthday party, the stranger the whole situation started to look.
Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $165 million estate in Beverly Hills. We're also told there will be a major recording artist performing and around 300 guests. And this is where things get juicy. One source mentioned that this is a surprise wedding, and that nobody except for a close circle of people know.
Kris Jenner threw one of the biggest parties of the year for her 70th birthday, and the cops were called numerous times. Let's get into it. To begin, let's go over the guest list. Justin Bieber was there with Hailey. She even had Bill Gates in the building. Paris Hilton was there. Snoop Dogg was there. Oprah was there with Gayle. Toni Braxton, who was a good friend of Kris Jenner, was in the building. Tina Knowles was in the building. Beyonce was not there, though Jay-Z was. Prince Harry was there. That is crazy that she had Prince and Meghan there. Mark Zuckerberg and his wife were there, which is actually shocking to see that he left the house to go to this party. And of course, Kim and all her sisters were there. Alabama Barker was there, and for those that ask, you know it's from the connection with Kourtney Kardashian. Vin Diesel was in the building. Meghan Trainor and her husband were in the building. And here's a look of Jay-Z heading out of
People who live near that mansion said the energy felt unreal, like the neighborhood turned into a full-blown Hollywood set overnight. And what made it even messier was how nobody could figure out who actually organized half the chaos, because everything felt thrown together at the last minute. Some insiders even claimed the event planners were scrambling because certain VIP guests kept switching their arrival times. When you're dealing with celebrities who are used to being the main character, that kind of back and forth can turn the simplest dinner into a circus real quick. And that explains why the streets were jammed, security was confused, and officers kept having to step in like the whole neighborhood needed crowd control. At one point, there were reports that guests couldn't even get out of their own cars because the drop-off lane was jammed with SUVs lined up like it was award season. Drivers were honking, security was yelling instructions, and neighbors were peeking out their windows trying to figure out why their quiet hillside suddenly sounded like a film premiere. It was pure Beverly Hills madness. Inside the party, things were just as intense, but in a completely different way. People said the house was packed wall to wall with celebrities mingling, taking pictures, and forming those little tight groups where everyone whispers about everyone else. It didn't help that half the guests didn't even know each other, so you had random clusters of famous faces pretending they were best friends for the night just to keep things smooth. There were also rumors that a few celebrities tried to leave early to avoid the noise complaints turning into something serious. Imagine trying to sneak out quietly only to see flashing lights at the end of the driveway that'll make anyone rethink their exit plan. And the funniest part? The DJ reportedly kept turning the music back up every time someone said the cops might come back, like they were daring someone to shut the party down again. Meanwhile, people online were dissecting every photo from the event. Folks noticed who was talking to who wasn't talking at all, and who looked like they regretted showing up in the first place. A lot of the comments came from the narrator's perspective, saying things like some celebs looked awkward, some were over the top excited, and some were clearly there just to be seen. And then there was the talk about the theme decorations. Some people said parts of the setup looked expensive and classy, while other parts looked rushed, like someone ordered props that arrived 10 minutes before guests walked in. That combo made the whole event feel like a strange mix of high-budget glam and last-minute chaos, which honestly made the night even more entertaining. Some people were laughing online, saying they'd never survive living in a place with strict HOA rules, talking about how they prefer wide-open rural areas where you can be as loud as you want without anyone calling the cops. But the funny thing is, folks who actually live near desert spots like Palm Springs or Joshua Tree kept saying the opposite. They're strict too because sound carries like crazy out there, so even one loudspeaker can echo for miles. Another person joked that Oprah probably wished she stayed home the moment she saw flashing lights hitting the driveway. And honestly, imagine the faces of Oprah or Mariah Carey when someone whispered, "The cops are outside again!" They must have been thinking, how did I end up in the middle of this circus tonight? That's the kind of moment where even a huge celebrity might question every decision that led them to that hillside. Then out of nowhere, rumors started spreading that this wasn't just a birthday party. People were claiming it was secretly a surprise wedding for Kris and Corey. The story got passed around so fast that some folks thought it was confirmed, but let's keep it real for a second, because that doesn't even sound likely. They haven't exactly been giving wedding energy lately, so the idea of them suddenly tying the knot behind a wall of noise complaints feels off. Still, everyone loves a wild rumor when celebrities are involved. But now I want to hear what you think. Do you believe there was something more going on that night? Or was it just a loud, chaotic billionaire birthday bash that got out of control? Drop your thoughts below because this situation has layers and the internet is already cooking up new theories. And before you head out, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next breakdown of celebrity chaos. I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to watch the video that's about to pop up on your screen. Trust me, it's packed with even more wild celebrity drama.